Good evening, good evening, good evening. Facebook Live. Just checking we are on the air. I had a real last minute message because I was trying to do it broadcast from Zoom, which I should be able to do. But when I clicked live, it wouldn't let me. So things we have to deal with, right? They just come along and fuck you up at the last minute. But hey, it is what it is, right? It is the way it's supposed to be. We're here. If you're on the live, listening, just so I know that I'm not alone, say hi, make a comment, tell me where you are in the world, because we have people checking in from all over the place these days, which is amazing. Our group's just about to hit 700 people this week, which is wonderful. Danny, Terry, Nadine. Oh, we're in for a bumpy ride this evening, I can tell. So, how are you guys doing? All you three guys are in Guernsey, where I am. I think, actually. Bev and Ed in the new phone. Yeah, Nadine, 700 people, nearly 700 people in the group now, which is amazing. So, tonight, first of all, obviously I love your comments and I love you commenting on, giving your take on things. So the more you comment, the better it is, I think. And I know when people watch this after, they enjoy the comments that are coming from you guys as well, because you guys have got, this is not about me, this is about you. And this actual one tonight is really, really more about you. And I'll tell you a bit more about it in a second. But I really wanted to do something that was focused on not just me bringing it, but something I knew that lots of people had engaged with. So like and comment, say, put in if you, if you've got any thoughts on what I'm talking about or whatever. So just going to go through something in a second. At the end of the live tonight, I'm going to talk about a masterclass that's happening on 28th of February, which is a goal setting masterclass, but I'll give you more details at the end. We should only be about 20 minutes tonight because I've got to get off and get on another call. So, with that in mind, and if everybody's okay, what we're going with tonight is something that I posted on Facebook, right? It's a Facebook quote. So what we're talking about tonight is, are you really stuck? And it's a Facebook. I think I was trying to do it through, Zoom so I could share my screen, but I can't share my screen, so I'm going to tell you about it. So it was a Facebook quote, not a quote, like a meme or just a post that I posted a while ago. And this, sometimes when you post these things, you don't know if people are going to like you. I hope that people are going to like them, and I hope they're giving value. But you never know whether people are going to like them or not going to like them. This one is my probably most shared and most liked and loved post that I've done. And it was a post about being stuck. Okay, and so that's why I called tonight, Are You Really Stuck? Because we'll just go into it. Now, when I realized when I posted it, I was thinking, well, that can come off two ways. That can come off like, are you really stuck, or are you really stuck? But I'm going to leave that for you to interpret on how it lands with you, because at the end of the day, I can say it's one thing and I can say it's something else, but you don't give a fuck about that, because it's how you feel and what you're getting from it. And that's how all coaching is, right? Coaching is about what you're getting from it and what you want from it. And then me kind of helping along the way if I can. So what I'm going to do with this quote, like I said, I wanted to show it to you, but I can't show it to you, so I'm going to break it down. And then I'll maybe put the quote or a link to the comment, a link to the post in the, actually, I wonder if I can put them in the comments. Can I comment? There's an idea. I'm not sure. Nadine, you're in limbo, are you? Now let me just see if I can post that. Anyway, I don't think I can. So what I'm going to do is crack on. So the post was entitled "You're Not Stuck," okay, and then there were some words after it. So what I'm going to do is just break down those words, break down each line of the quote, and go through it just to find out whether you are actually stuck or not, and what you can do to get out of it. So here we go. Right, so the quote is, I'll go through it all first of all. It says, "You're not stuck. You're just committed to certain patterns of behaviour because they helped you in the past. Now those behaviours have become more harmful than helpful. The reason why you can't move forward is because you keep applying an old formula to a new level in your life. Changing the formula to get a different result." Right, and that got like 200 likes, 20 shares, and all that kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is just break it down and go through it, and try and work out why it happened for so many people. Nadine's, "You're always in limbo." Well, you're always in limbo, but hey, who cares, right? It is what it is. So from that quote, the first part is, you're not stuck. You're just committed to certain patterns of behaviour because they helped you in the past. Okay, so you're just committed to certain patterns of behaviour because they helped you in the past. So what does that mean? What that means is any decision we make on a daily basis is really only based on history. So any situation we come across is only based on the knowledge we've got on the past, because we don't have the knowledge of the future. So when we come across a situation, what we do as human beings in general is apply, "Oh, I know how this goes. I've come across this situation before. This is where I am in life. This is my understanding of the previous thinking. So this is what I'm going to do, say. This is how I'm going to respond." And you know, that's kind of like, we see, to be fair, we see and I see different versions of this. We all say, you know, that some people are stuck in their ways, and some people are a bit more forward thinking and stuff like that. So we all know, you know, and we've all sort of said this at some point. So we all know people that are stuck in their ways. But the reality is that whenever we come across something, we're only dealing with previous experience to navigate the situation in front of us. So that could keep us stuck, because can we on a daily basis constantly be thinking of a new way to do every single fucking thing in our life? Well, probably not. You know, some people are more adept at that. Some people are always looking for change. I personally love change, right? And some people hate change, but there's always different ends of the spectrum. But do I want to change every morning? Do I think about the way I want to change making my coffee, making my tea? Do I want to change every day the way I get dressed in a different way? Do I want to change every day the way I go for brush my teeth or go for a poo? No, I don't. So generally those patterns work, but those patterns that you make to could be holding you back, because it's just a loop. It's just a loop you're on, and you're applying the same pattern to changing situations, and you feel like you're stuck because you're just going on that loop. Okay? So the first part is, you're not stuck. You're just committed to certain patterns of behavior because they've helped you in the past. Now, they might have helped you in the past because they applied well to the situation, but you might have been coping with something. You could have been a different age. You might have been a different stage in life. You might not have learned more from where you are now, and they might actually have been helpful for you in the past. So that's the first thing. They could keep you being stuck. The next line, and by the way, if you've got any comments, then please feel free. I know all of you beautiful people that are on here at the moment are not shy and retiring. None of you. Danny, definitely not. Terry, definitely not. Nadine, definitely not. So if you've got anything to say, please feel free to chime in with what you've got to say. So the next line of it is now, those behaviors have become more harmful than helpful, right? So like I was saying, so you're now, if that certain behavior, you know, when you come across a particular situation, I go back to this like saying that I was told by a coach of mine when I very first started getting my own coaching, T. Harv Eker, and he said, if you're not growing, you're dying. A lot of people, and it is said in there's studies around that say for a lot of people, if you're listening, I think that's good. For a lot of people, around the age of 35, believe it or not, a lot of people around the age of 35, they kind of think, that's it, I've got all the knowledge I need, and I just start going through life. And I know there's life and kids and all that kind of other thing, but a lot of people around the age of 35, believe it or not, stop growing and stop learning. So what that means is, from the age of 35, you are going and trying to assess all new situations that come towards you on previous knowledge. Now we do, you know, if you take an extreme, you know, situation, like say if you went one day, I don't know why this is coming to my mind, but say if one day you were like, oh, I'm siphoning some petrol out of my car one day, and I did it with a kid and I was smoking a fag and I burnt myself. Like, obviously that's something you're not going to do again because it's quite extreme, right? Or you blow your face off or whatever, because it's quite extreme. But a lot of the little things on a daily basis, we keep trying to apply the same situation and we wonder why it doesn't work. And so they do become harmful and they're not helpful, whereas they might have been helpful in the past. And I can't really think of a specific situation, but it could be, let's say dealing with a friend or relative. Okay, relatives. Let's just say relatives, because like, who hasn't got a fucking relative that they're dealing with dealing with a situation? And I was actually talking to one of my clients about something similar earlier on this week, who was saying, why doesn't this, you know, every time we go on a telephone conversation or every time we have a conversation, it starts off like this and it goes in a loop and we end up in the same place. That is because, right, we're still using behaviors to treat the same behavior. And so then what this thing is, these days it becomes harmful because we end up in an argument because people are changing, but the situation isn't changing. So we're using those same behaviors in different situations and they're not working. And our lives are so busy, we wonder why, you know, why don't things change? And why can't, you know, one person understand that you think it's not you, they think it's not them. So then, Danny, practicing growth mindset. Yeah, and Nadine, yes, very true. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you're talking about the relatives is what I said then. So practicing a growth mindset, and we'll come on to we'll come on to that part in a second, Danny, but yeah, absolutely. So those behaviors become harmful. So, you know, let's not take it to extreme. Like, you're not going to, like I said, if you like smoking a fag and siphoning petrol, you're not going to continually do that unless you're really fucking stupid, and then you'd kind of deserve it. But, you know, you keep, like, I think the relatives thing is a good example. You keep butting heads with the same person and you think, well, we used to get on, but now we don't get on every time. But, you know, you changed it. Every day you change and grow. Every cell in your body, every day, not every cell, changes cells every day. Your blood, your organs, you change every day. How I like to describe it to people is that people think that kind of you go round in circles and you end up back where you were before. I hear that a lot. Oh, I'm going back to where I was before. The reality is you can never go back. You can find yourself in a similar situation, but you're looking at that situation from a forward position. Now, it may seem exactly the same, but whatever happens, you're not exactly the same. You've had a different experience on a different day in a different life, and I always describe it as a spiral. So you might say, I see the situation, but I've spiraled. I might be on the same position, but instead of a circle, it's a spiral, and I'm looking at the same situation, but I'm actually at a different place in life. So those behaviors that worked for you in the past can become harmful, and as opposed to helpful, which they would have been in the past. Okay. The next line of it is, the reason why you can't move forward is because you keep applying an old formula to a new level in your life. Right. So that goes along with what I was just saying. Is your life is not a circle, right? Your life is, whatever happens, you are on a spiral. Some people would say spiral down, but let's just talk about it spiral. Let's be positive on this here and say, I mean, even if it's spiraling down, you're still changing. You're still not in the same situation. I would say if it's spiraling down, it's because you keep applying old habits to the same situation. But anyway, the reason why you're not moving forward is because you keep applying old formulas to a new level in life. No, like I said, no matter what we do, we are always on a new level. Every day we're on a new level. It might not feel like we're always moving forward. So I'm just reading the comments here. Here we go. Yeah, Nadine, move away from those people. Yeah, absolutely. But I would say, and you said yes and they are not. I'm not sure. Yeah, you're moving forward and they are not. Absolutely. But, I'm just using the people as an example because this could be any situation in your life. If you keep applying the same thinking and the same patterns, we'll get to the change in a second, but the same thinking, the same patterns to particular situations, then you're going to feel like you're stuck. And we'll get to how we get unstuck, or its part, in a second. So there is an Einstein quote that I love. I used to have it on my business card, actually. And it is, so we're moving slightly now into, how, the thing is, are you really stuck? Okay. So there is an Einstein quote, and the Einstein quote is, the definition of stupidity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I've used this, so I'll say that again. The definition of stupidity, you can look this up. The definition of stupidity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And that really, this Einstein quote epitomizes this. If you're doing the same thing over and over again and you want a different result, you are going to feel like you're stuck. And the things that we've talked about before is, I'm doing this, I've got the same result. I'm applying this to a different situation, I've got the same result. I'm applying the old pattern and the old formula to this new situation, but I've still got the same result. I'm applying my old thoughts to my relationship with this person, this relative, and I still keep getting the same results from them. So that's the quote from Einstein. The definition of stupidity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. What another simple way that I've used to describe that in the past is, if you've got a cake mix that makes, let's say, a chocolate sponge, right? And you keep making that chocolate sponge, hoping or wanting it to be a fucking fruitcake, then that is stupidity. The person that's doing that and going, you are a dumbass, because it's never going to happen. See, it's what we do in life. We apply our same patterns and our same behaviors to situations, but we want them to change. But they're not going to change, right? We're not going to turn a chocolate sponge cake into a fucking fruitcake just by going, I want it to be different, right? And thinking it in our head, or going round and round going, why is this not working? Why am I not getting a fruitcake? I mean, you would be a fruitcake. You're the fruitcake in this situation if you keep doing that, right? That's Einstein's technical scientific words there, fruitcake. That's Einstein's words. Just checking the comments here. Yes, Nadine, yeah. Okay, Danny, thanks for that. Right, so what does this all mean? Are you really stuck? The simple and the last part of this quote is, change the formula, get a different result. So, if we go back to what we talked about before, as Danny said, there's got to be a growth mindset. You have to approach the things that you, like I said, you're not going to start changing every day thinking, I'm going to put my trousers on a different way. I'm going to put my socks on a different way. I'm going to go for a poo a different way. I'm going to make my coffee a different way. Those day-to-day things. But if there are things in your life that you think you're stuck at, The question to ask yourself is, am I trying to make this situation different by using the same behavior? And if your answer to that is yes, then you're trying to make a fruitcake out of a sponge, right? Or you're trying to change a situation at work that's not changing because, but this worked in the past, right? Did it really work? Maybe it did, maybe it's good, maybe it's good for that situation. But remember, you're in a spiral and you're always changing. So use your formula, get a different result. What does that mean? That means if there's something that you continually feel like you're stuck at, as Dan said, have a mindset of always growing. If there's something that's not working in your life and something that you do feel stuck, it may be that, what's your language? Never, sorry. If you do feel stuck, then it maybe it's for you to think, am I using the same old behavior? Like it could be with a partner, right? Am I continuing to go round and round in circles with this person or relative? Am I using the same behavior? Because, when somebody says this, do I react in the same way? When somebody does something, do I say the same things in the same way? Is it at work? Is it in your life? Are you, even if you could have it to apply it to fitness and dieting, do I continually go on, I put on a bit of weight, I'm going on this diet, and then I come off it, and then and then I put on a bit of weight, and then I go back on the same diet, and then I come off it, and I put on a bit of weight, then I go back on the same diet. Like you're in a spiral. You're using old patterns and old behavior to try and fix a new problem, or the problem that's present in your life. So change the formula, get a different result. And what does that mean? That means that really, if you are feeling like you're stuck, examining what you're doing, examining your formulas, examining your behavior, I would take it around one particular situation to begin with. And like I said, not try and change everything in your life. Just take it, or go and do some research, do some understanding, do some growth, do some reading, do some listening to a podcast, do some listening to a Facebook Live like this. But find a different way to approach the situation. Another thing, bringing in our man Einstein here, just to kind of round this off, Einstein always says, which goes with this exactly, is that you can't fix a problem with the same mind that created it. Which goes exactly into what we're saying, right? You can't fix a problem with the same mind that created it. Meaning, your understanding, your knowledge, your learning, then that's not that you feel like you can't fix, then E equals MC squared. Yeah, was that Einstein? E equals MC squared, was it? Can't remember. So you can't fix a problem with the same brain that created it. So around a situation, if you feel you're stuck, there needs to be something where you need to grow, you need to learn. If it's something around to do diet, there needs to be a different behavior. If it's something to do with making cake, make a cake. If you want a fruit cake, you've got to get a fruit cake recipe. All right? If you want to change behaviors around a relative, it may be that they're never going to change. But that doesn't mean that you can't change. It doesn't mean that you can't change the way you do things. So it may not be that you're stuck at the top of this quote. Are you really stuck? Maybe you're not really stuck. Maybe you just need to look at things a different way, change your behavior, change your approach. I think this is a brilliant one that you can practice or use or understand or take some awareness easily from your partner. Is a great place to start, because let's face it, it's never rosy all the time. But it's a great place to start and to think, when this happens with my partner, we always end up here. So what needs to change? And invariably, with the people I work with, and this is why I tell people straight off the start, the person who needs to change is you. Right? That you're looking in the mirror, that is where the change needs to start. If after that things don't work, to look at something else, right? My honest, advice, heartfelt, kind of honest sharing advice on this is the change is with you. So you can take from what we talked about tonight and think, well, I'm going to go off and start changing somebody else. That may work. This is that it wouldn't work very well. So the reality is, to encapsulate what we talked about tonight, the change is, Nadine, you haven't got a partner. Oh, and you're loving the microphone. The microphone's good, isn't it? Yeah. I was going to tell you about this microphone, right? I'm going to tell you something just in 1 second. So Nadine hasn't got a partner. If you're watching this, Nadine hasn't got a partner. Lovely person, absolutely beautiful lady. So anyway, there you go. And Danny's talking about Man in the Glass. I don't know that poem, Danny, but I'll look it up. Maybe you could share a link to it in the comments below. Let me tell you something about the microphone, but quickly before I go. So anyway, just to round off what we're talking about, you're probably not stuck. You just need to change something. So look at the situation and think, what do I need to change around this situation? Start with yourself. What do I need to change around this situation to get me unstuck from it? And then you'll find you'll move forward. If you want to know more about this, if you want to talk to me, if you want to DM me, if you want to put comments below, I'm happy to talk about it. But for now, it's 7:30, so I rambled on half an hour. I'm just going to move on. First things first, 28th of February, I will be doing a masterclass on goal setting. Okay, this is going to be a Zoom call. It's not going to be a live like this. It's going to be a Zoom call. There's going to be limited spaces because in that masterclass, we're going to go around everybody and make sure we set proper goals. So it will be an interactive a Zoom call where everybody's chiming in and everybody's talking about their goals. So there's only going to be limited spaces. So if you want to be part of that free masterclass, if you want to be part of that, then comment masterclass below. Like I said, on Tuesday, the 28th of February, limited spaces only. We've got a few people in, but the class below if you want a part of that. And one of me or one of the team will get to you, probably then. We'll come back to you about more specifics on the date, but it's going to be on the 28th of February, probably at a similar time to this, but we will see. So on that masterclass, there's also going to be, so part of that masterclass, when you're on it, there's also going to be a special offer relating to coaching. So you've got to be in the masterclass first of all, and at the end of that masterclass on the 28th, there'll be a special offer relating to coaching on that as well. Right. If you want to check out now, that's kind of done for what I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to talk about lastly, because you mentioned it. Nadine, I'm just checking in the comments to see if there's any more comments. No. Danny, I don't know that Man in the Glass phone, but I will definitely look it up. Thanks, Nadine. Right. Okay. So just quickly before I go, you can sign off now if you don't want to hear about this microphone. Terry knows this, but a week or 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, it was my birthday. And out of the blue, an amazing friend of mine, Filippo Borselli, we all had a nice birthday lunch, but out of the blue, him and his wife sent me an Amazon voucher. Okay, he's like, here you go. You know, there's an Amazon voucher for you. You know, we want you to buy something. And so it was so out of the blue. I didn't expect anybody from anything. We're not kids anymore. Like birthday presents are like, you know, I'm 54 now. Come on, but it's so beautiful. What I thought to myself was, this is such a beautiful gift and so out of the blue. What I thought to myself was, what is the best thing that I can do with that money that's going to benefit other people as well? So what I did is I decided to put it towards buying this microphone so I could be more professional, be better equipped, and just be better at sharing information. So there you go, Nadine. That's the story of the microphone. Filippo and Lou, beautiful people, started that ball rolling. And I thought one of the best things I can do is to get a better quality and I can get the message out in a better way. So I bought a microphone. Well, I put it towards buying a microphone so I can do these kind of things. Anyway, there we go. That's the story of the microphone. I'm going to say thank you to you beautiful people for being on tonight. Thank you for your involvement. Thank you for your comments. Like I said, if you want to be part of the masterclass, just comment masterclass in the comments and one of us will come back to you. Other than that, from me, microphone and Einstein tonight, good night.